Hello, Internet, so nice to see you. A student of mine asked me if we can play modes, the modal scales, over a blues progression and make it sound blues. Yes, we can. Again, the important point is to make it sound blues and not like you are just a jazz player trying to play a blues. But yeah, it is possible. The other problem, on the other hand, that my students was worrying about is we need to change modes. We cannot play the same modal scale all over the blues chord progression. There is a change of key because blues naturally, and I'm talking about a dominant blues, blues naturally changes key in the chord progression. So the first important thing to know is that no blues player is actually sitting down and mentally recalculating the modes from first principle. So whenever they're on the first chord, they play something and then they just recalculate the whole thing. There is very little math involved, okay? So there is actually a trick to see what is the right mode to play on every chord of a blues progression, and it's much simpler than it sounds. So let me show you what I've answered to these students, and we're gonna go through these step by step so you can follow and play your modal scales over a blues.
I've learned the basic modes, and I want to know if there's more.
Well, yes,
Sure there is.
That's the touch a little bit more. What style are you playing?
Well, the style of music that I'm playing is blues rock, I guess you would call it. Yeah. So let's say blues based.
Okay.
But my modal practicing is not blues based. It's based on this.
Do you know how to use the modes in blues? Do you have an idea what to do?
I have some ideas.
Okay.
I have some ideas. So and have been able to put them into my playing, and that's what I'm particularly interested in.
So what are you doing right now? For
Okay.
modes?
So for example, if I was playing in an E minor blues,
E minor blues?
yeah, I could easily go to a D mixolydian, which is going to work beautifully in E minor, yeah? Yeah?
Good.
Okay, so things like that.
Okay.
Locrian works great there too. The Locrian over...
Those are the same notes as before.
Sorry? They're the same notes. But there you go. So this is my question.
Okay, very good. Okay. One thing is the mode, and one thing is the pattern.
Yes.
The mode is always called depending on the key of the song or the root of the chord you're playing over. So if I'm playing an E minor or E minor 7th, and you're playing D mixolydian, in reality you're playing A Aeolian or A minor. That's what you're doing.
Yes.
Because nobody out there who cannot see your guitar can tell that you're playing that pattern.
Correct.
The notes are the same.
Yes.
So your ear concentrates on the root of the chord, which is E, on an E minor 7th, and your ear interprets everything starting from that root. So it's not D, it's E. Make sense so far?
Yes.
Now, if in your mind you want to think that's D mixolydian because it's an easier pattern to see, you can. There's no problem with that. But you have to know that this is not what people are hearing. They're not hearing D mixolydian, they're hearing E minor. Then, all the patterns who have the same notes are the same mode.
Yes.
Okay? But they're different patterns. That's the difference. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you play D mixolydian, A, E, Aeolian, F sharp, Locrian, G, Ionian.
Yes, exactly.
It's the exact same mode if I'm playing, because you're playing them over an E minor 7th or E minor, whatever. They're all E Aeolian. Make sense so far? That's the difference.
It makes sense so far, and why I use that is because then I can be in different positions on the fretboard.
Exactly.
That's my advantage. But yes, same notes.
Exactly. So that's the difference. The mode is the sound. The pattern is what your hands are doing. Okay? That's the difference. It's important to know it, but that's it. Okay?
Yeah.
Good. So now, do you want to learn more about the patterns, or do you want to learn more about the modes? Meaning, do you want to change the position in which you play on the guitar so you can find some other places where you can play? Or you want to change the sound that you make with the guitar but still fit the chord?
I don't know. Is the answer to that question?
Okay, see, that's a very good answer. That's a very good answer. Okay, I like when people don't go confidently in this. And good. So why don't we try changing the sound?
Great.
And see if you like it. Okay. Do you know either the Dorian or the Ionian shapes, the pattern? You know them.
Yes.
Okay, so before you were thinking of this as if you were playing D Mixolydian. Okay, so I'm playing an E minor 7, and you play your D Mixolydian, and then you get a specific sound, which is the E Aeolian. Play that.
Yeah.
Anything. Can you play a D major or D Ionian instead? What's the note of
They're
difference?
not the same.
They're not the
because of
same.
the C sharp.
Exactly. One is C, one is C sharp.
Yeah.
So now, stay on the top 2 strings. Okay, because if we start from the bottom, it takes a long time to get there.
Okay.
In general, for everybody here, it's better if you study your scales from the high strings, not the low strings, because literally nobody ever will start soloing, right? You will start here. It's better if you start thinking of them that way. Okay? So, let's just play the top 2 notes of one and then the other.
Sure.
Okay, so if you play the top 2 notes, the top 2 strings of... which one is this?
That is the D major, that Ionian.
The D major, which would create the E Dorian sound.
Yeah.
Play it again. And stop on the C sharp, yeah? That's the different sound. Now play the D Mixolydian, which will create the E Aeolian sound. And stop on the C. It's a dissonance. I wouldn't stop on that note on that chord, but that's the difference.
Yeah.
So they sound slightly different. I mean, you can stop, but I will stop on the C sharp. That's a nice sound to me.
Yeah.
I will not really stop on the C. I will wait that the chord to go somewhere else to stop on the C. I can pass by the C.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's the difference between the two of them. Make sense?
It makes great sense. And I've got to say that if I'm, soloing live and Ionian, I can smash it out pretty quick without thinking too much about it. You know, it's
and it sounds pretty good.
And there it is.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking about minor blues, right?
Yes.
Minor blues in E. You're gonna start with E minor.
Yep.
You're gonna get to an A minor at a certain point, the 4th chord, right?
Yep.
On that, you will play the E Ionian.
Yes.
Or A Dorian, which is the D Mixolydian. I know, it starts to sound like math, I know. Okay, but it's really not that hard. Okay, so on this one, again, play your D Ionian.
D Ionian?
Ionian, so with the C sharp and the F sharp.
Right, got it, yes.
When I change chord, it's the same, but with the natural C. Because now the natural C is in the in the A minor chord. I mean, if you were playing a C sharp here, try. Now, I mean, unless you play jazz. Okay, so in that case, you hit the C.
Yep.
Okay, so let me come back to the E minor and now play the C sharp. Switch the other scale. And then back to the other.
Yeah, got it.
That would be our first change, okay? Now, if you were to take all the modes and order them from the one with all the modes with the same root, okay? So either you do it in E or in D, doesn't really matter. Okay, but if you're doing it in E and you order them from the one with the most sharp to the one with the most flats, So you'll have E Lydian, E Ionian, E Mixolydian, E Dorian, E Aeolian, E Phrygian, E Locrian.
Yep.
And every time there will be one note of difference between the modes. That's called the order of brightness. More sharp is brighter,
Cool.
less sharp is darker. You are shifting one space in this order of brightness because you're playing E Dorian, E Aeolian, E Dorian, E Aeolian.
So the modes are stacked on top of each other.
The modes are stacked. You can imagine the modes are stacked on top of each other. Again, from the same root. That's the important thing. The order is always going to be the same. Lydian, Ionian, Mixolydian, Dorian, Aeolian, Phrygian, Locrian. I mean, you don't have to remember it by heart. Just write all the modes. Okay. Stack them up. When you go from the first chord to the fourth chord, you want to step down in this order by one step. This is going to be true in minor blues, in a dominant blues, in a major blues, when you use the 6 rather than the 7. It's going to be true in all of those situations. Now, if you like the sound, that's up to you, because I mean, the sound is different. Yeah. But it's going to be true whatever is the first scale that you play on those chords. Because, I mean, if you like the scale, then on the fourth, you will like the scale that's a step below.
So it gives you some targets.
Yes, and every time you're going to change one note. So if you know what note to change, you don't have to do the whole mathematic of, okay, it's the Aeolian, then E Dorian, so it's the Mixolydian, then it's the, okay? Yeah. You just know what notes change, and you can go from there. Makes sense? It's a bit faster this way.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes sense?
That's really good. So
okay.
That's going to give me some targets to
yes.
aim for. I can go, oh.
Now, shameless plug.
Yeah.
I have a course called Master of the Modes, huh? And that's session number 2.
This is this sort of
stuff. So if you're interested,
great.
Okay. Let me know. We can talk if see if it makes sense for you or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things I do. The session number 2, I go through the order of brightness, which is this, and I show you also other things. I show you how the pentatonic fits in that.
Yeah.
How the other thing happen in this. Anyway.
Yeah.
Because once you put those things down in this order, there are lots of patterns inside there.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's the idea. You just think what mode fits on this chord, what mode fits on this other chord. There is always more than one mode that fit on every chord.
Yeah.
Because on the minor 7 chord, you can fit 3 modes. And now we put 2, Aeolian and Dorian.
Yep.
You can also fit a Phrygian.
Yep.
It's not really going to sound much bluesy, though. Phrygian is a bit harder as a sound. You can use those 2. And then on the other chord, on the A minor 7, you have other 2 modes that fit. And then you start looking at that. Okay. And then you decide which one you want to play.
Yeah.
And combine them however you want.
Okay.
Make sense?
It makes sense.
That's a starting point.
It's a great starting point. The other component is the position on the guitar, so I can go, oh,
yes.
Since I'm here in E minor, I only need to go 2 frets back, and I'm in D.
There are ways to do that. Yeah. That's a bit longer.
Exactly.
That's a bit longer. Okay.
Trying to sneak in.
One thing I will suggest you is write down all the modes, all the patterns, yes. And then maybe take just the top 2 strings.
Yes.
And do this kind of exercise here, where you go down 2 strings. Whatever. Okay. The pattern, the horizontal pattern, is always the same. If you learn it by heart, okay, if you play it up and down in different keys until you can play it while sleeping, as I say, then it's much easier to move around because the pattern is the same on the first 2 strings, on the central 2 strings, and the bottom 2 strings. So as long as you have 2 strings of any mode,
yes,
you can start to move down or up.
And then you can see them that way and that
and
way.
Again, there's more, but that's a starting point.
Yeah, that's great. That's very useful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Marcy. It's brilliant.